Well, welcome Tyler Harper to the show. He is a member of the Georgia State Senate, the 7th District since 2013, and is running for Agricultural Commissioner here in the state of Georgia. I don't know if you heard any of that, Tyler, but we basically have said if you're moving from a blue state to a red state that you would need to show some sort of understanding that you can't vote the way you did there. And because it, obviously hosed up those states pretty good, and now you're escaping it, moving to a red state. So you have to show us that your voting record is going to be in line with our state before you get to move here. What do you think of that?
Don't change our things.
Good morning, guys. Hey, Tug, Mike, Scott. Good to be back on with y'all. Appreciate it. Hope all is well. And I just want to say, look, if things are going well for us, but I think at the end of the day, I'm glad people are willing to move to Georgia. I think that proves that Georgia is a great state to live, work, raise your family, build a business. And I think it's because of the leadership we have in our state over the last 20 years or so, 20 years, where from Sonny Perdue on up to through Nathan Dill and Brian Kemp and the conservative leadership of the General Assembly, we've made our state a great place to move to and a great place to live, and I think that's evident in the fact that people want to move here, and we just want to continue to provide that same type of leadership and ensure folks understand that why that leadership is important, which is part of the reason I'm running to be the next Ag Commissioner for the state of Georgia. We've got to continue to have that conservative voice and that conservative leadership in all our offices up and down the ballot, including offices like Ag Commissioner, because it's so important and so vital to our state, especially since agriculture is our number one industry here in Georgia. And look, I just want to continue to work with the leadership we have here to ensure that Georgia is that great place where my family's called home for over 200 years, that for the next 200 years, my family and generations after me can continue to be successful here just like my family has been.
Tyler, one of the things that we just heard, too, and you brought it up, you're running for the Ag Commissioner. This is the number one industry in our state. And Brian Kemp and supporters of Brian Kemp have been running an ad where Stacey Abrams, going back to, 2018, and when she was talking, said one thing that really stuck out to me, and it's Georgians shouldn't have to work in agriculture. When you heard a comment like that, what was your first reaction?
Well, I'll be honest with you. First off, I was appalled and shocked that a person running for governor in the state of Georgia would even make such a comment. For her to make a comment that was disrespectful and that diminishes the work of hundreds of thousands of Georgians. 1 in 7 Georgians works in the field of agriculture who work in our number one industry on a day-to-day basis, I think shows just how touched she is, just how unqualified she is to be the governor of our state. And we need to ensure that we got leaders that understand the holistic approach to Georgia, that understands all the needs of Georgia, and especially understand the needs of our number one industry. And obviously she's out of touch with that. And we definitely don't need anyone like her wanting to lead our state just for that reason.
Tyler Harper is running for Ag Commissioner in the state of Georgia, joining us on XTRA 106.3, the Morning Extra. Tug Rhino. So going back to that statement, because you said, it shows how out of touch she is, and I agree with you. There's so many things that she said that seems out of touch with what most people in Georgia believe and think, and certainly what I believe and think. It's almost like to me, if you say, someone doesn't have to or shouldn't have to work in agriculture, when agriculture is the number one industry in the state, it's like trying to get a job as a head mechanic when you've never been a mechanic, or you don't see the need to have the experience as a mechanic to get that job. Does that disqualify her from being governor of Georgia?
I think that's definitely a conversation worth having. That a lack of understanding of our number one industry should definitely disqualify you from leading the state that has the number one industry of agriculture. One of our founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, said that agriculture is our wisest and most noble pursuits. And I think our country and our state, we're all built on agrarian economies. Agriculture is still our number one industry. It's the most important segment of the economy here in the state of Georgia. It affects every all 11 million Georgians on a day-to-day basis. And those that work in the agricultural industry, like myself, being a peanut, cotton, beef, cattle, timber producer in South Georgia, we're proud to be in agriculture. We're proud to be part of that heritage. My family, that's all my family has done here in Georgia since we've been here, since the Revolutionary War. For 200 years, my family's been involved in the ag business in the state of Georgia. I'm a seventh-generation South Georgia farmer myself. And I think, that's the disconnect and the misunderstanding when it comes to this industry. And that's one of the reasons we're going to work to ensure that we're investing in that next generation of agriculture as the next commissioner, because I think it's so important that people understand what opportunities are available in the ag industry, because there are so much opportunity available in this industry. Just down the street from here in Atlanta, where I'm at this morning, because we're in the legislative session, we have one of the AGCO, which is a tractor manufacturer. They need people that know how to write computer code. I think a lot of times folks don't understand that, you can be a computer scientist and still work in the ag industry. So the agricultural industry touches a lot of segments that I think a lot of people don't understand or realize, and we need to ensure that we're supporting that industry. We're giving that industry the resources it needs to be successful, and I'm going to work to do that as the next ag commissioner, and we need to make sure we have a governor that's willing to do the same.
Tyler Harper, running for ag commissioner, joining us here on the Morning Extra. So we talked about, people moving here and bringing, those things with them that they're moving from. And you and I have talked before, and I moved up to Hiawassee, and we don't want that kind of change. And we saw yesterday President Biden, or actually the day before, President Biden and Vice President Harris come in here, and they want to change the way this state votes. In fact, they want to change the way any Republican state votes. And Stacey Abrams is a big part of that. You guys getting into, and you're also a state senator here, you're getting into the legislative session now. How much is election laws going to be a part of this session? I know that we passed SB 202, but there's some other things that are drop boxes, non-citizen voting. How much of that are you guys getting into in the state legislative session?
Look, I think, number one, talking about the president's visit, I think, first off, we got to talk about facts. And I think that's what's been missed in this conversation. Georgia has been ranked the number one state for an election integrity in the country. I think that's a proud ranking for us, especially after the passage of Senate Bill 202 last year. And I think the hard facts are there. More people have voted in the last two elections than have ever voted in the history of our state. So to say that ballot access and voting access is a problem, I think the numbers show otherwise. And I think that's what's been missing in this conversation by those on the other side of the aisle. And we're willing to have that conversation. And I think Senate Bill 202 moved our state in the right direction and providing and making sure that we're securing our election processes. But like you said, I think there's been some proposals dropped in regards to drop boxes and in regards to non-citizens voting and tightening up that particular part of our law and even part of the Constitution of our state. I think you'll see some of that moving through the session, this session, as we continue to work through the legislative session. But I look forward to working with with my colleagues on those issues and making sure that at the end of the day, Georgia continues to be a place that we can be proud of when it comes to our ballot access and our voting access and giving every Georgian the ability to express their voice at the ballot box. And that's what we've worked to do through Senate Bill 202, and that's what we're going to continue to work to do regardless of what proposal may be presented in the General Assembly.
Tyler Harper joining us right here on the Morning Extra. He's running for Ag Commissioner, also a state senator here. We're in the middle of the legislative session. I know you're a big Second Amendment guy. We've talked about it before. And of course, being in that kind of industry and in the agriculture industry, it kind of goes hand in hand. We talked about Brian Kemp and making the constitutional carry and getting that into the legislative session. How do you think that's going to go over there?
think there's going to be some pretty good reception for that. I support what the governor's doing in that regard and working to address constitutional carry in our state. And I think you'll see some movement on that issue this session. And I look forward to working with them on that proposal and seeing what the final language looks like as we move that through the session. I think there'll be a lot of things that come up this session. The budget's the most important part and most important thing that we do this session. The governor's already rolled out some of his ideas in that regard, and this afternoon the governor will give his State of the State address where he'll roll out the remainder of his proposals, and we look forward to working with him and his office and the rest of the General Assembly and making sure that we have a successful session this year, which is my last legislative session, so it's kind of bittersweet. But I look forward to doing a lot of great things this session and ensuring that Georgia continues to be a place we can be proud of. Agriculture continues to be our number one industry, and we're setting ourselves up for continued success like we've seen over the last 20 years. And I look forward to working and building on that success as the next Ag Commissioner for the state of Georgia.
His name is Tyler Harper. You can find him on the web at tylerharperga.com. Lifelong resident down in South Georgia, Irwin County, and he's a product of the Irwin County school systems. A proud UGA grad. How about them dogs?
Yes.
Go Dogs. It's been a big week for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Certainly has. Graduated College of Agriculture and Engineering. Also a graduate of Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College. He's a small business owner. He's a conservative senator, and he's running for agricultural commissioner here in the state of Georgia and asks for your vote, and we certainly appreciate your time. And I would like to point out a member of Satilla Baptist. Is it pronounced Satilla?
Yes, sir. Satilla Baptist Church.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yep. Down there in Irwin County. So we appreciate it.
Always
yes,
great to talk to you, Tyler. We'll speak to you again, I'm sure.
Hey, guys, thank y'all for having me on. Great to be with you. Look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all very much.
Yes, sir. Best of luck. We wish you nothing but luck.